I've had a face for radio, so think about that now. I'd like to just rewind a second before we move into our next selection here. We did some Civil War history and music here. I just want to honor the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati. Did you know that dozens of the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati were in battle nurses during the Civil War? Many of them are buried here right by the Mother House. So thank you for this beautiful facility. Sister Victoria Marie and the rest of the thank you for your wonderful, wonderful service in teaching and healthcare. We've been really blessed by the Sisters of Charity of Cincinnati. So as we mentioned earlier, it was really common in the early 20th century for immigrants to isolate themselves in communities. These were people who shared their cultural background. I know in northern Kentucky, in Covington, you had a church on every corner and a bar on every other corner. But there were strict neighborhoods. You know, there were the Irish, there was the German. We had the polka with the German heritage. We had Loch Lomond from the Scottish heritage. And so there were these groups of pockets of people. But as America prepared to enter the First World War, this was in 1917, it was really necessary to really stir up the country's patriotic feelings in spite of all these different European cultures that would come here. So our political leaders wanted people to no longer really so much identify themselves as Irish, Italian, or German, but more as Americans. And one of the greatest musical leaders who helped accomplish this was the great Broadway showman, George N. Cohan. During the pre-war years, he gave us a lot of memorable tunes. I'm sure you'll recognize The Grand Old Flag and, of course, Yankee Doodle Boy. Cohan's biggest musical contribution to the war effort was the greatest of the World War I marching songs. Over there. So, here in this arrangement is a wonderful three-part series of Cohan tunes we call the Cohan Salute.